Hi there, my name is Russ Horn, and I would like to show you a chart formation called an ascending or a descending triangle. Now I want to start off with an ascending triangle. It is a chart pattern that starts out with a double or a triple top, and the underside of this formation has higher lows, so progressively higher lows. So we need at least two lows, one followed by a second one that is higher. And what we get is a narrowing of the formation. So I've got an example of that on the chart here. Now this is the graphic that I've drawn, and we can see that we have a double and then a triple top. And what happens is we get a low followed by a higher low, and we get a pinching effect, a narrowing of the formation. Now, this traditionally has been called a bullish formation. Price generally breaks out to the top side. But as I've traded over the years, I find the ascending and the descending triangles to be more neutral. There is no higher probability as far as a direction of the breakout goes. So I find that this could break out in either direction. Now I've got an ascending triangle. This is the graphic, and I'm going to show it to you on the actual chart itself. So I'm going to draw a line across the top. So we can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 areas where the price gets very close. We've got 4 areas of resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have not just a double top, but a quadruple top. Now it doesn't need to be 4 areas like this. 2 is good enough, but as long as we have what's essentially a double top. Now, if I were to draw a trend line across the bottom, we can see that the trend line slopes upwards. So we've got a point 1, 2, 3, and so on. So we have this upward sloping trend line underneath the ascending triangle, and this gives us a squeeze in the end of it. Now, if I were to extrapolate these lines, they would eventually come together. The way this is traded is we're looking for a breakout, either of the level of resistance at the top, this flat line, or the angled trend line below. So in this case, we get a breakout to the bottom side of this area of support, this angled trend line. Now, the way this is traded is we are targeting the same distance as the widest part of the formation. So we've got the widest part of the formation here. Would be this. So now I'm going to take that, and where we have the breakout, I'm going to place this on the trend line, and I would expect the market to go as far as this widest part. So this would be my target down here. Now, of course, this market really moved, but generally speaking, I'm looking for the widest part as my target. Now, this is an ascending triangle because we've got the flat top. Now, let's take a look at a descending triangle where it's the bottom that is flat. So here we've got a descending triangle. We've got an area of support, this flat bottom. Price bounces off of this a couple of times. And if we draw a trend line across the top, we can see that that trend line is sloping down. And if we were to extrapolate both of these trend lines out into the future, they would eventually come together. Now, again, traditionally, the breakout is to the flat side. And that, in this case, would be to the bottom. But again, I have found that over the years, there's no real probability to one direction or the other, which makes this a neutral pattern. So I've got a descending triangle in this area here. So I'm going to draw the trend line so we can see it a little more clearly. So I'm going to draw the trend line across the bottom. And we can see we've got 1, 2, 3 areas where the price gets to this level of support. And a trend line across the top has 1, 2, and then finally a breakout of number 3. So this again is a descending triangle because the bottom is flat and the breakout in this case is to the upside. There's no higher probability as far as the direction of the breakout. It can break to the upside or it could break to the downside. And again, what we're looking for is the distance of the widest part of the formation would be our profit target when we are trading this. So I'll be looking here for the width, the widest part. Let's duplicate that. And then where I get the breakout, I'm going to put this on the trend line. So this then becomes the target for a long trade. I'm waiting for a close beyond the trend line, and this would be my target for the trade. This is the ascending and the descending triangle.